Welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Books for Us podcast. It has been quite a while since I've done a review. I am inconsistent in every facet of life, to say the least. But I do have fun doing these and want to make it happen more regularly. So whether or not that happens would seem like it's up to me, but it feels like it's more up to the cosmos. Anyway, without further ado, today we will be talking about Piranesi, or Piranesi, I don't know how it's pronounced, by Suzanna Clarke. If you've tuned in before, you know that I usually start off with a short synopsis to give you some insight into what the book is about. I sincerely do not know how to do that for this book. It is, of course, fiction, as always. That's all I read. Here's what I have for you on this book as far as the synopsis goes. When you start this book, you will be plummeted into a world that consists mostly of giant statues, the ocean, and birds. And that's all I got. That's the entire synopsis. Once you read it, you will understand why I did not say more. Trust me. So as always, I will give this book my personal rating. As a reminder, my rating system from lowest praise to highest praise is lowest, see for yourself. Then recommend. Next highest is highly recommend. And then finally, the highest praise is holy shit, you need to read this book right now. Of those, I would rate this a highly recommend. So a friend of mine selected this for a book club that we are a part of. And my experience, along with almost everybody else in the group, followed a kind of similar pattern or formula. In the beginning, this book makes very little sense. It's packed with minute details that you don't know if you're supposed to be understanding, and they will mean very little to you. It may be a little infuriating at first, or boring, or whatever. Here's my advice to you. Ride it out. Keep going. Every person I have spoken to about this book has had a very similar experience, and I need you to trust me here. Make it through the first 60 or so pages, and you will be handsomely rewarded. It pays off, I swear. It's a relatively short book, so the risk is small, and the the reward of reading it far outweighs the frustration of muddling through the beginning, because you will be a little frustrated. But trust me, as always, for those of you listening to this episode, if you are interested in winning my copy, no one ever has tried, which is fine. It's fine. I'm good with it. It's fine. I don't think about it. I'm strong and independent. For those of you listening, if you're interested in winning my copy, email me at booksforuspod@gmail.com with the subject Albatross. I will pick the winner randomly. As always, I will read the first few pages of the book. I do not have permission from Suzanna Clarke or the publisher. I have permission from no one. I am not trying to steal anyone's ideas or words. I'm just trying to get books out there. I don't know. Okay. If you rat on me, I understand. I mean, whatever. So here is a short excerpt from Piranesi, I guess is what I'm going for with the pronunciation, by Suzanna Clarke. When the moon rose in the third northern hall, I went to the ninth vestibule to witness the joining of three tides. This is something that happens only once every 8 years. The ninth vestibule is remarkable for the three great staircases it contains. Its walls are lined with marble statues, hundreds upon hundreds of them, tier upon tier, rising into the distant heights. I climbed up the western wall until I reached the statue of a woman carrying a beehive, 15 meters above the pavement. The woman is 2 or 3 times my own height, and the beehive is covered with marble bees the size of my thumb. One bee, this always gives me a slight sensation of queasiness, crawls over her left eye. I squeezed myself into the woman's niche and waited until I heard the tides roaring in the lower halls and felt the walls vibrating with the force of what was about to happen. First came the tide from the far eastern halls. This tide ascended the easternmost staircase without violence. It had no color to speak of, and its waters were no more than ankle deep. It spread a gray mirror across the pavement, the surface of which was marbled with streaks of milky foam. Next came the tide from the western halls. The tide thundered up the westernmost staircase and hit the eastern hall with a great clap, making all the statues tremble. Its foam was the white of old fish bones, and its churning depths were pewter. Within seconds, its waters were as high as the waist of the first tier of statues. So, that's just a little bit from the first page and a half. I could have read more, but it's just kind of pretty nonsense at this point. But again, bear with it. I promise. I mean, if I'm wrong, I can't really get fewer listeners, so, I mean, I could, but I don't know. Just freaking read it. All right. And that's all I got for today. Thank you for listening. Thank you so much. Email me with the subject, Albatross, if you'd like to try and win my copy. For God's sake, someone try and take one of these books. Oh, God. Oh, no. So, yeah. If you, again, email with the subject Albatross. If you'd like to try and win my copy, one person will be selected at random. Regardless, pick this one up. Let me know what you think. Muddle through those first 60 pages before you make a judgment on it. Thanks again for listening. Thank you, Brooke, for this book. And you guys have a great day, evening, whatever it is. And thanks again for listening. I love you. I love you. I love you.